UFC 322 is finally over, and here is how the MMA pros were anticipating the main event.
Ciao, теперь у нас тоже есть два чемпиона. У нас самая сильная страна, самая сильная республика, самые лучшие бойцы.
We were all wondering how Islam would look at 170, if the strength, if the power, if the grappling would translate. As the week went on, I think we all thought, okay, he's really comfortable looking at 170. He's looking really good without his shirt in those photos and in the training footage that we saw. And he said it afterwards, Chuck, in the post-fight interview to Joe Rogan. He's like, man, this is a dream. I feel so much better. And it's a scary thought. That's his first fight at 170. Just think how he's going to look after his second and his third. It's really remarkable what this guy is doing. I'm blown away by the performance because I really think the world of Jack Della, who had not, lost in the UFC and was on an incredible winning streak himself, to do that to him is nothing short of amazing.
See, now, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I want to see Ilia Topuria versus Islam now. I want to see it even more now. Dude, Ilia versus Islam White House. Make it happen, Dana. Make it happen.
I like the over. I think the under-over is 2.5 rounds. I'm not sure what the lay is, what the money is as far as laying, but I can tell you if that's accurate, 2.5 rounds, I like the over. I'll tell you that.
Huh? Usman's there. Usman can be a problem. Can he? Yeah. We've seen how you done well against Makhachev as well.
Yeah.
That can be definitely. Yeah, you're probably right. Probably Andy doesn't take an unnecessary risk. So he's a smart. So I think Usman will be Islam's toughest challenge. Won't take any unnecessary risk. Can stick to a game plan. Who's going to give Islam problems? Get me at 170. Get me at 170.
We'll get you back on the Maccas.
Nah, look. Again, feel bad for JDM. Feel for him. Obviously, you don't get much better dudes than Jack. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
I didn't plan on it, but my shuttle just got here and I saw him walk. I wanted to tell Habib and Islam both congratulations, man. What they're doing is incredible. Just won a belt, 15 pounds up. I mean, dominantly. It's just him and his team, the work they're doing and the way they're performing is incredible, man. I got to respect it,
I think when we think about the White House, it's almost like, oh, does it have to be America versus the world themed and stuff like that? For you, would you be happy putting a non-American main event on that card?
Yeah, it's not America versus the world. It's what's the best card we can build.
So could Islam end up on the White House?
We're talking about him possibly, GOAT talk here, depending on what he does in his next couple of fights. So it's a possibility. And I was saying to Habib, I've been in the fight business since I was 20 years old, and all I ever hear is this guy's going to be a world champion, this guy's going to do this guy's going to do that. Everybody says the same thing, and almost nobody ever does or makes it. His father said Habib will go in and dominate, and he'll have a run, and when he's done, and then Islam will come in behind him and do the same. And, holy shit. It played out exactly the way his father said, which is pretty amazing. I don't know what you asked me, but I hope I answered your question.
No, it's just...
If you didn't watch the fight and you want to know just how dominant it was somewhat reminiscent of the Khamzat Chimaev Dricus du Plessis fight, which we saw back in August. The fight, each round starts standing. Shortly thereafter, there's a takedown, and Jack Della was just never able to get up. He was never able to do much on the ground. towards the end of the fight, he looked defeated, he looked distraught, he looked deflated. His calf was messed up. Not to suggest that Islam didn't hit him with some shots standing, but it just was one-way traffic throughout. He is just so strong, he is so good, he is so dominant, he is so talented, and now he becomes just the 11th fighter in UFC history to win a belt in 2 different weight classes. He is also the man who has just won his 16th fight in a row, and in doing so ties the great Anderson Silva for the longest winning streak in UFC history. So all kinds of history made tonight at Madison Square Garden. He is the pound for pound best in the world. There is no denying that, and is slowly but surely going down as one of the greatest ever, and in my opinion has put his mentor Khabib Nurmagomedov with this victory very much in the rearview mirror. He has surpassed him. If he had not done so already, Islam Makhachev is that guy, and now the welterweights, which we'll be talking about a lot on this here program, have a new problem to figure out, because this is going to be a very tricky puzzle.
I didn't think Islam was going to be able to, I didn't think Islam is small for 170. I've seen him in person. I've trained with him. He's a big fucking dude. And who would Islam fight next at 170? You know what? I think Islam is destined for, he should fight Ilia Topuria at the White House. If he beats Ilia Topuria, he retires. Islam has plenty of money, right? Go out on your shield like Khabib did. A lot of people in MMA don't want to see that, but in mixed martial arts, us athletes, we stay too long at the party. There's no reason for an athlete to continue to come to the head and all that stuff. If I was him, fight Ilia Topuria at the White House. You beat Ilia Topuria, walk away. I'm sure he made another one. That shit probably goes as far as fucking Russia, so there's no point for him to keep on fighting.
Topuria, I don't know if you saw his tweet. He said you're like the most boring fighter in the UFC or something like that. I know you said to ask you about him after the fight at Media Day. Can you give us your full thoughts on a fight with him now?
No injury, nothing. I don't feel any pains. I'm ready. Who is gonna be next? Let's do this, and I will make it easy.
Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight has created one of the most unpredictable title fights in recent memory, and as UFC 322 approaches, opinions from fighters across the sport are clashing harder than ever.
The only way of Islam Makhachev winning this fight is going to have to be through the grappling, the wrestling.
What? The blasphemous statement that you just made. The Henry, I can't believe what you just said. Did you not see the setup? Body, send it to the head, put Volkanovski away. Put Charles Oliveira down and put him away. Don't sleep on Islam's striking now.
Remember though, Kamaru, he's a 55-pounder going up 15 pounds. We gotta give respect to JDM, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking a lot of French today. I always give respect to JDM. This is a closer fight than most people think. But if you had to say where one guy has a bigger advantage, if Islam is able to get this fight down to the canvas, that's where he shines.
What makes Islam Makhachev special, he can mix it all. But if he's saying if the wrestling don't work, then I'm like, all right, man, then he must really believe in his striking against a really good striker and JDM.
From the outside looking in, Michael Page has been one of the loudest voices discussing how this fight could play out. Even though he's bumped up to the middleweight after getting frustrated with the politics at welterweight, he still sees the division clearly. He doesn't believe Makhachev will be able to enforce his usual suffocating wrestling against Jack Della Maddalena. Page has always respected what Jack can do, especially because many fans still treat him like an underdog even with a belt around his waist. To Page, that label ignores the thing that makes Jack so dangerous: his ability to break free in chaotic scrambles. Makhachev may get him to the canvas at times, but Page can't picture Jack staying there long enough for Islam to build momentum.
Jack Della versus Islam is obviously an interesting one. It's annoying for me because it holds up the division that I'm in, but it's still an exciting fight. I actually feel like Jack Della is very underrated, even though he's a champion now, and the people that he fought to kind of get here. He's very underrated, underestimated always. He's a person that is hard to keep on the floor because he's the scramble king. Even if Islam is able to take him down, I don't think he's going to stay down at all. The only way I think Jack can get caught is if he tries to get up incorrectly and gets caught in one of his famous chokes that he has. But other than that, I feel Jack's the better striker as well, and he's just better at nullifying people with submissions or takedowns.
George Masvidal sees the stakes as massive. In his eyes, if Jack walks out of Madison Square Garden with a win over Islam, it wouldn't just be another title defense, it would be the kind of victory that instantly pushes him to the top of the pound-for-pound rankings. That's not a leap Masvidal makes lightly. He sees the fight as a rare moment where a win would redefine the global picture of the sport.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is though, Jack is special. I've said this already. Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for. Wow, that's impressive, you know. I don't know. It's a good fight, man. I think I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh, really?
You know, but I really think it's going to be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Khamzat Chimaev is fully confident the welterweight challenge won't bother the former lightweight champion. He views Makhachev's move up as not a gamble, but as an announcement. Chimaev has insisted that Islam's timing, pressure, and ability to control fights will translate smoothly into the bigger division. For him, Makhachev isn't just stepping up in weight, he's stepping up to prove that his dominance isn't linked to size at all.
Jack or Islam? Well, Islam will get the and Jack will get My asking he coach brother wait what he gonna say, we'll see. Your opinions? 5% od Maddalenas. Islam doktor jest bad. Coach says 55% Maddalena, 45 Islam, but I think Islam, we will see. Both good fighters. Islam moving up, it's interesting to see what's he gonna do. But I think Islam will be more, he's gonna use his wrestling more in this fight.
But Paddy Pimblett doesn't buy it. He has doubted Islam's striking for a long time, and he thinks this is the moment that weakness gets exposed. In Pimblett's mind, Jack's boxing is the sharpest in the division, and the crisp combinations he throws could leave Islam looking outmatched on the feet. He believes that if the fight stays upright, Jack's timing and accuracy could make the night rough for the Dagestani champion.
But I hope JDM absolutely punches his little head in. Yeah, I hope JDM batters him. And if he can keep it on the feet, then he will absolutely batter him, and I hope he does. Islam was chatting pony the other day.
Not Paddy for sure. Paddy beat who? Like Tony Ferguson, who else he beat? Everybody beat Chandler. Nobody checked Paddy before.
Saying who I beat when he got a title shot at lightweight off beating Bobby Green. Someone who I beat faster than you little bum. Get back down to lightweight and I'll punch your head in as well.
Then there's Charles Oliveira. Having shared the octagon with Makhachev, he understands exactly what makes Islam so dangerous. Oliveira knows how overwhelming those early minutes can feel when Islam is fresh and pushing forward, forcing mistakes with his pressure. But he's also someone who has learned how momentum can evolve as rounds pass. Oliveira sees the fight as one that could shift dramatically depending on how Jack Della Maddalena handles the early storm. If Jack avoids big damage in the first half of the fight, Oliveira thinks the tide could change. Especially if Islam slows down just enough to give Jack room to breathe and counter.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo, é o time.
Carlos Prates echoed a similar idea but came at it from a mental angle. Sharing the UFC 322 card has given him a close look at both men, and what stands out to him isn't Jack's technique but his calmness. Prates believes that staying mentally stable under heavy pressure is what turns good fighters into great ones. Against a grappler like Islam, that composure is essential. Prates feels that if Jack can remain patient during those smothering moments, he might be able to take the fight into territory Makhachev isn't as comfortable in and steal rounds when others expect him to fade.
The main event is also in your weight class, JDM and Islam. Who do you think is going to win that?
I think the favorite is Islam. But Jackie show like he grew up a lot as a fighter, since he stopped fight now. He was a long time without fight, almost 2 years. And he got really good skills to fight Belal Muhammad, defense takedowns. So I think he's gonna win.
You think Jack is going to win?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think he wins a decision, or do you think he stops him?
I think decision is really hard fight.
You think Islam stays at 170 or he goes back?
If he loses, I don't know. It depends how he feels during the fights. How close is gonna be the fight, you know?
And Gary focused more on physicality. To him, the weight difference matters a lot. Jack is a true welterweight with the frame, power, and durability of someone who belongs there. Makhachev's skill set is elite, but Gary believes that absorbing Jack's shots is a challenge all on its own. He sees early exchanges as potential game changers, especially if Jack lands something heavy before Islam settles into his rhythm.
Who do you think wins, Jack or Islam?
It's such a tough one to talk about. Islam is phenomenal. He's good everywhere. Size matters. When you're talking about an extra 15 pounds, when you look at the size of Volkanovski versus Jack Della Maddalena, there's a big size discrepancy. And Volk gave him a good fight. And then Dustin Poirier, it wasn't absolutely completely dominant by Islam. It was a tough fight. Size is going to play a huge part. Even on the ground, I feel like Jack could get it done with just some clean boxing and good takedown defense. But I can absolutely see Islam coming in and doing what Islam does and going out there and just looks like the phenomenal mixed martial artist he is.
Joaquin Buckley doesn't share that optimism. Buckley's prediction leans heavily on the belief that once Islam gets close, the dynamic changes instantly. He imagines Makhachev pushing forward early, closing the gap, grabbing hold of Jack and dragging him into a world where strength, technique, and top pressure take over. Buckley expects that steady grind to break Jack down over time, and he sees a finish arriving before the championship rounds, either by submission or by punishing ground strikes.
I'm happy that he's moving up and he's taking on a new challenge within JDM. JDM has massive knockout power, has excellent boxing, has excellent striking. But that ain't gonna mean nothing when you're on your back, all right? So Islam, immediately when they fight, he's gonna push him up against the cage, he's gonna take him down to the canvas, and he's gonna hold him there as long as he can. But you already know, Islam, he's not just gonna hold you there and just wait for the decision. He's a finisher. You already know, man, with his amount of weapons that he has, he got the darts, he got the anaconda, he got the head and arm chokes, so he coming for that neck, all right? So JDM, if he's unable to keep the fight from going to the ground, he's finished, he's done. So I got Islam beating JDM in the third round, either via TKO or submission.
Dricus Du Plessis also favors Islam, but for a completely different reason. In his eyes, experience is the deciding factor. Makhachev has gone through waves of high-level competition, beating former champions, elite contenders, and dangerous fighters. Du Plessis believes that those experiences sharpen a fighter in ways that pure skill never can. Even though Jack's rise has been impressive, Du Plessis feels that Islam's resume gives him an edge when things get chaotic or tight.
Welterweight title bout, Jack Della Maddalena against Islam Makhachev.
This fight is truly one of those fights where your heart says something, but your mind says something else. I love Jack Della. I think he's an incredible fighter. I love watching him fight. How good he did against Belal was incredible. I mean, Belal is really good wrestling. But if you look at his opponents versus Makhachev's opponents, Makhachev, he was pound for pound for very long. Pound for pound king for a very good reason. People think Jack Della is going to be bigger. I don't think so. But this one, I would love for him to win, but unfortunately, I cannot go against Makhachev in this one. He is just so good. And I don't think he's going to give up anything. I think he's going to be great at that weight, to be honest.
Gilbert Burns took a more middle ground approach. He recognizes that moving up in weight could actually make Islam stronger because he won't be dealing with the exhaustion of cutting down to lightweight. Better recovery could mean sharper reactions and more explosiveness on fight night. But Burns also emphasized Jack's preparation, especially with Craig Jones, a grappling mastermind who has already played a huge role in preparing fighters specifically for Islam's style. Burns sees this matchup as an extremely high-level chess match between corners just as much as athletes.
Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think. especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating.
Stephen Thompson offered perspective from a more cautious angle. He respects the champion, but he wonders if Jack stepped into this challenge too quickly. Going from beating contenders to facing someone as proven and dominant as Islam might be a huge leap in his opinion. With dangerous welterweights like Shavkat Rakhmonov and Ian Gary rising fast, Thompson feels Jack may have moved straight to the most difficult puzzle available.
Who do you think wins that fight between Islam and Jack Della Maddalena?
Well, first off, I gotta say, if I was Shavkat Rakhmonov or Ian Gary or somebody that is right there who's really worked hard to get there, I'd be pretty pissed. Because, you know, this guy, JDM, just got the title, and then he's giving somebody else a shot at what I've earned the right to have, you know, which is the title shot. Like, give JDM a shot at, you know, give him one or two more guys. If he beats them, then give him somebody outside the division. But I would be kind of pissed. I would be kind of upset that they're giving this guy immediately somebody from 155 division. Now, I think it's a very tough fight for Islam Makhachev. Bigger guy, somebody who won the title from somebody with a similar style in Belal Muhammad. Mm-hmm. I do believe Islam Makhachev striking is a lot better than Belal Muhammad's, but their pressure, their cardio, their wrestling background, fairly similar. Obviously, I think one would be better than the other, but he's faced somebody a lot exactly like him. So I think it would be a tough fight for Islam for sure.
Steve Ercik sees something in Jack that few have highlighted: emotional control. He was incredibly impressed with Jack's performance against Belal Muhammad, especially considering the short notice circumstances. What stood out wasn't just Jack's accuracy, but his patience. The way he stayed composed, didn't rush, and didn't allow the moment to overwhelm him. Ercik thinks that combination of sharp timing and steady decision-making could be a problem for Islam, especially if Jack starts landing counters similar to what Dustin Poirier threw at Makhachev in their fight.
Yes, I mean, I've known for a very long time that Jack is an amazing fighter. He's really good, and he shocked me on how good he was. Like, he handled the grappling exchanges so well. And it's the best striking performance I've seen from him. Like, he just, like, the big moment, like, he rose to the occasion. It was, like, fantastic to see. And I really do think, I do think that the grappling from Islam, like, he's a better technical grappler than Belal is, but he's not quite as big. He's not as imposing. And yeah, if you look at the Dustin Poirier fight, Poirier was able to stop some of his takedown and win some scrambles and stuff like that. I feel like not only will Jack be able to do that, but when he lands punches, it's going to be way more devastating.
Yoel Romero noticed similar qualities. Romero has always admired fighters who remain calm when everything around them becomes unpredictable, and Jack fits that mold. Romero believes that the mental clarity Jack showed in the Belal fight is rare, and that kind of poise might be exactly what's needed when facing someone who thrives in controlled chaos like Islam.
Yoel Romero gives his honest take. Yoel Romero just shared his thoughts on a potential showdown between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, and it's a must-hear. Romero believes that Maddalena, while being a big 170-pounder, might face a tough challenge against Makhachev's superior grappling. Do you think Jack's striking can beat Makhachev's grappling?
Dan Hooker added a factor many people tend to overlook: cardio. Hooker knows the challenge of bouncing between weight classes better than most. He believes Islam might feel strong early, but could struggle to maintain that same level of dominance over a full 5-round welterweight fight. In contrast, Jack's body is used to performing at that weight for 25 minutes. Hooker expects that if the fight reaches the later rounds, Jack's natural conditioning might start to take over.
Well, Islam, credit to him for stepping up to the plate and coming up to welterweight. He definitely got my respect for being able to move up a weight class and fight Jack Della. Like, it's something that even the greatest lightweight of all time, Khabib, who never managed to chase that accomplishment in being a two-division champion.
Israel Adesanya approached the matchup from a technical perspective. After studying both athletes, he feels Islam's move up might not go the way many expect. Adesanya is convinced that Jack's size, pressure, and striking could create problems for Islam, especially if Jack frequently escapes takedowns. If Jack can repeatedly force the fight back to the stand-up phase, Adesanya believes the momentum will shift more and more in the champion's favor.
I think Jack in this fight with Islam, he's gonna have to overwhelm him with punishment on the feet. And then when he shoots, because he has to shoot, Islam's not gonna want to stand with Jack. He's gonna stand with him, but he's gonna realize, I need to shoot because this is where I'm supposed to win, or I'm better at supposedly. I'm not trying to count Islam out, but I just know Jack. I know when Jack keeps getting up, it's gonna be a problem, and Islam's gonna be forced to strike. And when he's forced to strike with Jack, he's gonna get hurt. That's where I'm at in this fight. And Islam, I think, is the best of the Dagestanis, one of the best fighters in history, one of the most efficient. I do think, Islam, I'm not disrespecting, I think Islam will be able to get him down. What? For how long? Yeah. In this fight, not just because it's Anzac United, I really think that Jack Della Maddalena has the skills to stifle Islam's game and be able to just put it on the feet and knock him out. Might be second round, might be third, but we'll see. Tune in and find out.
Dustin Poirier's view comes from direct experience. He knows the pressure of fighting Makhachev across 5 rounds and understands that Islam's most powerful tool isn't the takedown itself, but the threat of it. That constant danger forces opponents to hesitate, kills combinations, and prevents fighters from planting their feet to generate power. To Poirier, Jack's success depends entirely on how well he can maintain his balance, defend the hips, and keep Islam from dictating every exchange.
If this does turn into an all stand-up fight, can Islam win it?
That's where it's going to be tough for Islam. He has to threaten with grappling somewhere. He can't just sit there and exchange combinations with JDM in the center of the cage. He can't. I don't think he can do that. He's going to lose if he does that. I think he might have some moments where he lands a shot or does something, but he's going to have to go back to the legs to keep Jack guessing. Is it up or down, up or down? He can't just sit and kickbox with Jax for 25 minutes. I don't think he's on that level.
My bookie currently has Jack Della Maddalena at plus 206, Islam Makhachev minus 275. Seeing a lot of support out there from fighters, analysts for Jack Della Maddalena to win this fight. Are you siding with that, or do you believe Islam holds serve as the favorite here?
Man, this is a tough one, dude. I would think Islam by decision, but if Jack does win, I'm not going to be totally blown away if he lands a shot that hurts Islam or a knee or something. Obviously, if he beats Islam by decision or submits Islam, then I'm going to be blown away. But I got to go with Islam by decision. That's if I was betting on it, that's what I would bet on.
Colby Covington rounded out the discussion with a more tactical viewpoint. He recognizes that Islam won't be able to bully Jack physically the way he did with many lightweights. But Covington still sees Makhachev as one of the most complete fighters in the world. For him, the entire matchup comes down to who sets the pace. If Jack forces Islam to constantly react, the fight could tilt toward the Australian, but if Islam slows things down and mixes his striking with steady grappling threats, Covington thinks he can turn the bout into another methodical masterclass.
Islam versus JDM. What do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. Islam, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, he could definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
As all these takes collide, the final prediction becomes incredibly difficult. Both fighters have clear paths to victory. Jack Della Maddalena brings sharp hands, natural size, composure, and the scrambling ability that could keep him upright long enough to land real damage. Islam Makhachev brings championship experience, elite grappling, multi-layered pressure, and the proven ability to shut down world-class opponents. So the final call? In a fight this layered, the smart pick leans toward the man who has done it longer at the highest level. The prediction ends with Islam Makhachev finding his moments in the grappling, surviving the early striking threats, and gradually taking control as the rounds progress. Jack will have his chances, and he may shine in moments, but over 5 rounds, the experience and versatility of the challenger seems slightly more reliable.